The 2005 to 2021 Nissan Frontier has its share of common problems. Here's what every owner or buyer needs to know. 1. Transmission failure. For Nissan Frontier owners, few failures are as dreaded or as expensive as transmission failure. The problem isn't just wear and tear, it's often a design flaw that turns some Frontiers into ticking time bombs. The biggest culprit? Coolant contamination. In many 2005 to 2010 models, a faulty radiator design allowed coolant to leak into the transmission cooler inside the radiator. Over time, this coolant would mix with ATF, automatic transmission fluid, turning it into a thick pink sludge that destroyed internal components. Symptoms included delayed or erratic shifting, slipping gears, and eventually total transmission failure. Many owners only realized the problem when the damage was irreversible. Mechanic shops saw these trucks roll in with strawberry milkshake fluid, a dead giveaway that coolant had infiltrated the transmission. Nissan issued a radiator redesign, but for those already affected, the only fix was a complete transmission and radiator replacement, often costing upwards of $4,000 to $7,000. Some owners preemptively installed an external transmission cooler to bypass the radiator altogether, preventing the issue from happening. Even in later models, unrelated failures plagued the Frontier's automatic transmission. Shift solenoids, valve body issues, and torque converter failures were common complaints. We'd see Frontiers with hard downshifts, erratic RPM surging, or total transmission lockup, says one veteran transmission specialist. Many needed complete rebuilds. For those still driving a Frontier from these years, regular fluid inspections and an early radiator replacement before 100,000 miles are essential precautions. Avoiding excessive towing and keeping an eye on shift patterns can also help prolong transmission life. 2. Timing chain. Tensioner problems. A persistent rattling noise at startup is never a good sign, especially if you drive a 2005 to 2021 Nissan Frontier. Many owners have learned the hard way that this seemingly minor issue often points to a failing timing chain tensioner, a problem that can lead to catastrophic engine damage if ignored. The issue stems from premature wear on the secondary timing chain tensioner shoes. These plastic guides are supposed to keep the chains tight, but over time, they develop deep grooves where the metal chain rubs against them. As the grooves deepen, the chain slackens, leading to the characteristic cold start rattle. If left unaddressed, the chain can jump teeth on the camshaft sprockets, throwing off valve timing and potentially causing piston-to-valve contact, a death sentence for the VQ40DE engine. One Frontier owner described their experience on a Nissan forum. At first, it was just a slight noise on cold starts. A few months later, it got louder, and eventually the truck started running rough. Mechanics said the chain was stretched, and if I had waited any longer, I'd be looking at a blown engine. The fix? A full timing chain service, which isn't cheap. Replacing the primary and secondary chains, tensioners, and guides typically cost between $1,500 and $2,500, depending on labor rates. Some DIY-savvy owners have tackled the job themselves, but it's a complex repair requiring specialty tools and precise timing alignment. To prevent failure, regular oil changes with high-quality synthetic oil are critical. Dirty or degraded oil accelerates wear on the tensioner components. Some owners also report that switching to a thicker oil viscosity helps quiet minor chain noise, but once the guides are worn, replacement is the only permanent solution. 3. Fuel system issues. The most common fuel system problem in the Nissan Frontier is fuel level sensor failure. The sensor, located inside the fuel tank, uses a resistor card with metal contacts to measure fuel level. Over time, these contacts wear out, causing erratic readings. Owners often report the fuel gauge dropping to empty despite a full tank, or fluctuating between full and empty at random. Some experience a permanent empty reading, triggering the low fuel warning light even when fuel is present. This issue is particularly common in 2005 to 2010 models and was the subject of a partial recall, though many affected vehicles were not covered. Another frequent issue is fuel pump failure. Symptoms include long crank times, engine hesitation, stalling, or complete power loss. The problem is usually due to a failing pump motor or a defective fuel pressure regulator within the pump assembly. Some owners have reported intermittent failures where the truck would run fine for days, then suddenly struggle to start or stall under load. A less common but notable issue involves clogged fuel filters restricting fuel flow, especially in high-mileage trucks. While the Frontier's filter is built into the pump assembly, debris from contaminated fuel or ethanol-related corrosion can accelerate wear. Repairs depend on the issue. Fuel level sensor replacement costs between $300 and $600, while a full fuel pump assembly replacement, including the filter, can exceed $1,000 due to the labor involved in removing the fuel tank. Some owners temporarily bypass the issue by tracking mileage manually instead of relying on the faulty gauge. Regular use of top-tier gasoline and occasional fuel system cleaner can help minimize sensor and pump wear, potentially extending component lifespan. 4. Rear differential failure. Rear differential failure is a well-documented issue in the 2005 to 2021 Nissan Frontier, often causing whining, howling, or clunking noises that worsen over time. The problem typically stems from such worn bearings, leaking seals, or damaged gears, which can lead to expensive repairs if not addressed early. Many owners first notice a faint whining noise at highway speeds, a sign that the A carrier or pinion bearings are wearing out due to poor lubrication or fluid contamination. If left unchecked, the noise becomes louder, and excessive wear can cause loose gear meshing, leading to vibrations and erratic drivetrain behavior. One of the most common causes of differential failure is low gear oil levels, often due to a leaking pinion seal or axle seals. When differential fluid levels drop too low, the metal components inside lose proper lubrication, causing overheating and premature wear. Over time, the airing and pinion gears can develop pits and scoring, leading to rough operation and eventual failure. Trucks frequently used for towing, hauling, or off-road driving are especially prone to this issue, as extra strain generates more heat and accelerates wear. In severe cases, a damaged differential can lock up completely, leaving the truck undrivable. Repair costs depend on the extent of the damage. Bearing replacements typically cost $800 to $1,500, while a full differential rebuild, including new gears, bearings, and seals, can exceed $2,500. If the damage is too severe, replacing the entire rear axle assembly may be necessary. To prevent failure, owners should change the differential fluid every 30,000 to 50,000 miles. Using the correct GL5 synthetic gear oil, Santi, regularly checking for in-fluid leaks and unusual noises, can help catch problems early before they become costly repairs. Rust and corrosion. The Frontier's frame, undercarriage, and body panels are especially vulnerable, with rust often forming on the rear leaf spring mounts, wheel wells, rocker panels, and cab corners. Over time, unchecked corrosion can compromise the structural integrity of the vehicle, leading to safety concerns and costly repairs. One of the primary reasons for the Frontier's susceptibility to rust is the design of its frame, which can trap moisture, dirt, and debris. This creates an environment conducive to corrosion, particularly in areas where drainage is poor. Additionally, the factory-applied rust protection on some models has been criticized for being insufficient, leaving the metal exposed to the elements. Owners in rust-prone areas often report that even well-maintained trucks can develop significant rust within a few years of ownership. When considering a used second-generation Nissan Frontier, buyers should pay close attention to signs of rust and corrosion, as these issues can significantly impact the vehicle's safety and longevity. Start by thoroughly inspecting the frame, particularly around the rear leaf spring mounts, as this area is notorious for rust. Check the undercarriage, wheel wells, rocker panels, and cab corners for any bubbling paint, flaking metal, or visible rust holes. Use a flashlight to examine hard-to-see areas, and don't hesitate to get underneath the truck for a closer look. If the frame shows significant rust scaling, holes, or structural weakness, it's a major red flag, and the deal should be avoided. Buyers should also look for signs of poorly repaired rust, such as uneven paint or filler on the body panels, which could indicate hidden corrosion. A vehicle history report can provide additional insight, especially if the truck has spent time in regions with harsh winters or coastal environments. 6-point catalytic converter failure. Catalytic converter failure is a common issue in the second-generation Nissan Frontier, particularly in models equipped with the 4.0-liter V6 engine. The catalytic converter plays a critical role in reducing harmful emissions by converting exhaust gases like carbon monoxide and hydrocarbons into less harmful substances. When it fails, you'll often notice symptoms such as a check engine light, usually with codes P0420 or P0430, reduced engine performance, poor fuel economy, and a sulfur-like rotten egg smell from the exhaust. In some cases, the converter can become clogged, causing the engine to run poorly or even stall. There are several reasons why the catalytic converter might fail. One of the most common causes is unburned fuel entering the exhaust system, which can overheat and damage the converter. This can happen due to issues like misfiring spark plugs, a faulty oxygen sensor, or a rich fuel mixture. Additionally, oil or coolant leaks into the combustion chamber can contaminate the converter, leading to premature failure. Physical damage from road debris or corrosion over time can also contribute to the problem. Thanks for watching. Whether you're a current owner or considering a second-gen Frontier, knowing these common issues can save you time and money. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more straight-to-the-point guides on your favorite vehicles. See you in the next video.